Let's bring on to the show Congressman Mike Johnson from House Armed Services and from the Fraternal Order of Police, National Vice President Joe Gamaldi. It's great to have you both on. Thanks for joining us. Congressman, first, your reaction to that story. The president is saying that more spending will fix this. Nothing about progressive DAs normalizing felonies and the low to no cash bail policies. How come he didn't mention that, Congressman?
That's a great question. It's absolutely outrageous. The president said we need gun reform. We don't need that. We need reform of radical district attorneys. That's the problem. As you said, it's these progressive DAs with these crazy policies where they won't prosecute crime. They're reducing felonies to misdemeanors. They're weakening their bail policies, and it leads to more crime. This is not rocket science. An eighth grade civics student could figure this out. They're also the open border policies. That's a big root cause of all these problems, because dangerous people are coming across the border, being shipped around the country on planes and buses to a neighborhood near you. And we know fentanyl is flooding over the border, and that's leading to all sorts of street crime and gangs and everything else. So it's the president's and his party's policies and their dangerous rhetoric, of course, about defunding the police that has led to all this. That's the root causes, and that's what needs to be addressed and reversed.
Yeah, we hear you, Congressman. Also, the president, by the way, said he's against defunding the police. He wants more money. Joe, how would you fix it? We hear you, Congressman. Joe, what is the answer? How do you stop this? I mean, let's show the data on the crime that's going on across the country. People are fed up. They've had it. They don't want it anymore. Carjackings up sixfold nationwide. Murders up 30% in 2020. A dozen cities, new homicide records. What's the fix? How do you stop it?
Well, the fix is to do the opposite of what they are doing.
Police officers delivered historic crime reductions in the 20 years prior to this huge spike that we saw in violent crime over the last 2 years. We've done it before, and we can do it again. But here's how we do it. We have to actually enforce the rule of law. We have to make sure that we are actually prosecuting criminals when they commit crimes. We need to vehemently prosecute violent crime. If someone uses a gun in a crime, we should be seeking the maximum, not giving them a slap on the wrist and letting them back out. And we certainly shouldn't be giving them a PR bond where they just pinky promise to show up to court. We need to embrace broken windows theory so that we can fix the crime and disorder in our communities so that everybody feels safe. And we need to support and fund our local police departments so that we can accomplish that mission, because everybody deserves to live in a safe community.
To Joe's point, and you're both making great points, Congressman, you know, it's not rocket science, right? The answers are right there. I mean, the other thing, too, is when you look at Newark police officers, they didn't fire a single shot during 2020. They didn't pay a dime to settle police brutality cases. They started taking off the streets nearly 1,500 illegal hot guns starting in 2020. And so when you see that, you see, though, the platitudes and the rhetoric. It's mistaking activity for achievement. That government spending is going to fix it, Congressman. No. What Joe is saying is what police officers keep telling us. That's the fix. What do you say?
No, that's exactly right. Joe's right, and we so appreciate his passion, the Fraternal Order of Police, law enforcement heroes all around the country. This is a very difficult time to be on the streets, and morale is low, personnel is down, as a result, again, of these policies, of their dangerous rhetoric about defunding the police. You know, it's great that President Biden suddenly has seen the light and doesn't want to defund the police now, but it doesn't square with what his party has been saying and acting upon consistently for the last 2 years. And this is the results. Again, this is really foreseeable, and it was totally preventable, and we can prevent it by doing exactly what Joe suggested. Get back to the basics. Let's have real policing. Let's have aggressive prosecution of crime, because that is the thing that will deter more of this. And we better do it quickly, because it's getting out of control.
It just feels like the president kicked the can down the road again, Joe, to the congressman's point. I mean, it's now hitting foreign policy. China is now ridiculing rising crime in the U.S. Look at this tweet from the president of El Salvador. He's saying the U.S. is getting slammed from within. He's saying, why aren't U.S. authorities and media not even commenting more on the destruction of U.S. cities? It's not about just money. It's about morale, plunging morale, right? And so when you see it hitting foreign policy, when you see even Democrats like the San Francisco mayor, London Breed, saying the DA, Chessie Boudin, is failing black people, I mean, this is a wake-up call that's been ringing off the hook now for more than a year.
Well, it is.
Well, I mean, absolutely.
Go ahead, Joe. Yeah.
Joe's going to take it. Let's go to Joe. Sorry, Congressman. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, other countries are laughing at us because our crime rate is through the roof. As you mentioned, we had 16 U.S. cities experience their highest murder rate ever. And what we really want to hear from every politician, president, senators, representative, local officials, start holding these rogue DAs accountable. And I want everyone to speak out against the violence against police officers, condemn it, because honestly, our hearts are bleeding right now for the loss of our officers. We've had 32 officers shot last month, which is a 67% increase over last year, which was a historic year for police officers being shot. Ambush attacks are up 115%, and this has to stop. This is not a sustainable path we're on, and our heart bleeds for our communities, because you know who's harmed the most? Our black and brown communities in our urban communities, because guess what? If we don't have public safety, grocery stores won't move in, we have food deserts there, banks won't come in, we can't get the best teachers to work in those environments because they don't feel safe, and it's got to stop so that everybody has the same opportunities.
Right, and guess what? Taxes go, and guess what? When you destroy the tax base, everybody's taxes go up. Is the president, Congressman, is he being, again, taking the position of renouncing his 1994 tough on crime bill that he wrote in 1994? He was slammed for that because it incarcerated. It was blamed for incarcerating a lot of minorities. And by the way, Heather McDonald at Manhattan Institute is saying it could be 10,000 black people and minorities killed last year. So is the president kind of still in that position of, being, having been criticized for that 1994 crime bill? What do you say, Congressman?
What we believe is that he made commitments to all these radical progressive groups in order to get the nomination, to be able to be elected president, which was his life's goal, right? And he's there now, and he's not driving the train. I think these activist groups are, these interest groups, the people that are in his ear all the time, and that's what's led to all this chaos. We need the president of the United States to stand up and lead. We need him to go back to the apparent vision that he had in the 90s when he cared about crime in our communities. It is too late for this. We have got to get on point, and the president has got to address the root causes, as you said. That's the problem.
Congressman Mike Johnson and Joe Gamaldi, we'll have you both back on again soon. That was a great interview.